Yo, yo, SUC in the building, man. You back? You back? Yo, man. Shout out to Shortstop Click, man. Scholastic Bully. What's going on, brother?
7 Gang. Y'all already know what's up, man. Source Gang. What we do here is special because in this community, we surrounded by nothing but rhetoric, a sea of rhetoric and keyboard warriors. So we that diamond in the rough. You know what I'm saying? And we got the argument king today, swinging and banging all the way from the land of Canaan. My brother James gonna present y'all with flames. You know what I'm saying? So hey, I'm excited. I'm ready to see this. I know he gonna bring the fire, bro. Let's get it.
That's right, man. Without further ado, man, we turn everything over to our brother, James Cassell.
All right, man. Let me share my screen real quick. And while I do that, first I want to give all praises to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? I want to thank the CEO and our champ for allowing me to come on here and do this presentation right here, man. You know, I wanted to do something special for the source, a topic that I know is talked about a lot in the community. You know what I'm saying? And that's who is Japheth, man? Because a lot of people argue, you know what I'm saying, that the white man is Japheth. Some argue the white man ain't Japheth. So I want to put together a little presentation and show y'all what I've been getting from my studies. All right. So the intro, like I said, but the main thing I want to emphasize in my intro is in the second paragraph. They're using the last glacial maxim as the infamous flood of Noah kept in the oral traditions or the oral memory of the Israelites. The reason I say that is because I'm bringing this from a secular perspective. So if I'm going to bring it from a secular perspective, I have to also approach the biblical text from a secular perspective. And from a secular perspective, especially Genesis, is an oral tradition and it's part of the oral memory, which means it was some dramatic event that took place in the history of the people that they kept and recorded. So that being Noah's flood, you know, we go around the world looking, almost every culture that ever exists, they got a flood story, you know. So I think that pointed to a real event that took place. So what I had to do was look through the archaeological record and see, was there any global climatic event involving water where it pretty much was a bottleneck to a lot of human and animal life, you know. And then I found that was the last glacial period. And the last glacial maximum is more towards the end of it, that period. But I believe that period is what they're talking about with the great flood of Noah, if I'm going to bring it from a secular perspective. Another thing I want to point out is that the reason I come at it from this approach is because I personally don't use exact dating. So what I use is relative dating. So I look in the archaeological record for the sequence order of events. So what I do is I take that and I compare it to what the oral tradition of my ancestors is. And then when I mash that together, that's going to be what I present here. But pretty much using that as the marker for the flood period. The next thing I wanted to do was look to the area where Genesis 10 says they migrated to, which we all know that was Europe, Russia, and all that region there. So the next thing to do, obviously, was to, you know, go through the fossil record and see what we find. But right here it says, we build a model to address the traditions of our ancestors and find where it coincides with the archaeological record. Then we update our model to reflect the modern sciences based on the findings. Using the table of nations in combination with the genetic data, we see if we can identify a common ancestral Y chromosome origin of these people who were the first to settle in these regions in accordance with the findings of modern science. Why take this approach? I pretty much told y'all that, you know, why use the lab and all that. Also, something to point out, I personally take the stance that the quote unquote sons of the gods were other types of archaic humans like Neanderthals and Denisovians, and they also died off due to this glacial period. So that also coincides with, only one lineage surviving this flood, one Y chromosome lineage. All right, so the objectives pretty much was to show a common ancestor of the first people to populate Europe after during the last glacial maximum. The second part would be pretty much given the methodology that I pretty much use, which is like I said, looking in the archaeological record, grabbing the genetics, and then looking in the phylogenetic tree to see if it goes back to a common ancestor. Then I'll give the results of the findings, and then we'll have our conclusion. So part one. All right here is the Goyet Caves. As you can see, this is up in, I believe that's Belgium, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, up in Belgium. And there we find the Y chromosome basal clad of C1A. So there's one genetic, one haplogroup we have right there that we can look at, C18. That's found in the Upper Paleolithic about 35,000 years ago. Not only is this one is found there, but it's also another one at Pastora Norelli, I believe that's in Spain, if I'm not mistaken. And the source for this is the Genetic History of Ice Age Europe, published in June 9th of 2016. And I'm going to be using this source a lot because it's pretty much was the combination of all the data from the period. All right. The next place we have is the I don't even know how to say that, but it's in Oblast, Russia. This one right here is from 37,000 years ago. So you're looking at about 35,000 BCE. And this one is the Y haplogroup was C1b, which is the brother of it. And this is from Koistinsky 14 genome, and that's actually a artist rendition of what it would look like today. So you can see that the hook nose, the curly hair, but they would have had dark skin. Also, genome present in early evidence for the separation of Europeans and East Asian lineages. It was found to have a close relationship to the Mount Altaboy from 24,000 years ago of the Southeast Siberia of the ancient North Eurasians. That's a culture. And to the late Mesolithic hunter-gatherers of Europe and the Western Siberia, as well as to the basal population ancestral to early European farmers, but not to East Asians. So it's pretty much saying all of Europe at this point. This is from the genomic structure in Europe's dating back at least 36,200 years ago, and this was published in Science. All right, this is right here is the Vinstonis archaeological site. This is in the Czech Republic. All right, pretty much talking about there was a burial site with 3 bodies that was found there in the burial site. And it says the body were lying in an extended supine position, covered by burnt spruce logs and branches. The body in the middle was placed first, being partially covered by the other 2. The other 2 were in different positions. One was face down and the other on his side, with hands reaching the pubic region of the middle body. The heads of all 3 were covered with red ochre, and central body was having the red ochre around his pubis. At first, they was actually saying that the middle body was a female. I guess they were trying to make it some type of female worship by males, but then they found out that it was a male indeed. And Vestoni's 43 sample, that's the code for the body, for the exact body. The Y chromosome was found to be in haplogroup F. So we got 2 from haplogroup C, and we got 1 from haplogroup F. All right, and it says during the excavation at the site in 1986, a preserved triple barrel was unearthed. The site is dated to 28,000 years ago. The remains of 3 male individuals were found. It was initially believed that the middle of the 3 bodies was a female, but recent DNA evidence has proved the body was a male. And this is from a molecular approach to the sexing of a triple burial at the Upper Paleolithic site of Dolny, Bernice. It was published in Plus One in 2016. So again, we got C and F covered right now. This one right here is the Bankola Tarla archaeological site. This is up in Turkey region. Is the eastern Anatolian region of Turkey lies the remains of a settlement occupied from the late Epio-Paleolithic to the pre-pottery bronze, pre-pottery Neolithic B periods. A large communal building with stone pillars were reported at Bungkuklu, I don't even know, Tarla, in 2019, prompting comparisons to Göbekli Tepe. And I did a presentation about 5 years ago dealing with Göbekli Tepe and the Natufian complex that moved up that region, up to that region to help that formulate. An excavation team under the direction of archaeologist Ergul Kodas of Artukul University has found evidence of an 11,800-year-old sewer system at the ancient settlement of Bangkoklu Tarla East in southeastern Turkey. I just had to point that out because that's the oldest evidence we have anywhere of a sewer system anywhere on the planet. And I want to give credence to the sons of Japheth for making that happen. And that's from Neolithic sewer system uncovered in southeastern Turkey, publication of the Archaeological Institute of America. All right. Haplogroup G2A has been identified in the Neolithic human remains in Europe, dating between 5,000 and 3,000 BCE. Neolithic Europeans were descendants of Neolithic farmers from Anatolia, among some of the earliest peoples in the world to practice agriculture. GM201 was found in Neolithic Anatolian Bangkoklu, dating back to 83,000 to 8,300 to 7,600 BCE. And that was published in Early Farmers from Across Europe Directly Descend from Neolithic Aegeans by Zana Hoffmanov. And so again, and I hoping I want to repeat this so people kind of catch on to it because a pattern forms. Is C, we got C, we got F. All right, now we got G. All right. This right is the Goyet Caves human remains in Belgium again, but this one's from 15,000 years ago. And this is the basal haplogroup HIJK, has been found in Mesolithic Europeans, Goyet Q2, which is the code for the body. And this is the genetic history of Ice Age Europe, published in Nature again. And so again, we just went over G, and now we got HIJK. You know, this genetic thing ain't as complicated as some people try to make it seem. As you can tell, things are taking place pretty much in alphabetical order, which makes it kind of easy for you to see what comes from what. And when you look at the phylogenetic tree towards the end, you'll really get a good picture of what I'm talking about. But pretty much, if I give a little bit, from F, you get what's called GHIJK, and then the G splits off. So that's why I gave you the G. But then you have the HIJK, which is a basal group in and of itself. And then, you know, the H will branch off from there. And that's what I'm about to give you now. H haplogroup in Hungary. And of course, this is from Hungary. The haplogroup H2 found in BAM17B and BAM25. Those are the codes for the two bodies of the Mesolithic European Starcevo population of Alsoniec, 5,700 BCE. And that is from Parallel Paleogenomic Transects Reveal Complex Genetic History of Early European Formers. I know I had said I was going to do this presentation early, but I had to go and actually read this stuff because I'm not like some people who like to just skim over, grab what they need, and then keep it moving. I actually want to read the articles. So if I'm questioning, I know what I'm talking about. And this was published in Nature in 2017. H2 also has a strong affiliation with the spread of agriculture from Anatolia into Europe, and is commonly found with haplogroup G2A, which we talked about earlier. H2 is found in Neolithic Anatolia as well as in multiple later Neolithic cultures in Europe, such as the Vinca culture in Serbia and the megalith culture in Western Europe. But as you can see, all this stuff is concentrating here on Europe. Again, the Verstonis archaeological site. This is in the Czech Republic, just a little bit west of Russia. And this is Basel IJK because the H fell off and created his own subclave. Now we have IJK, which has been found in Upper Paleolithic Europe in the Gravettian. That's is a culture. And the Verstonis 16 is the name of the body. And the reason I have this underneath this is because pretty much almost every haplogroup from here on out is going to branch off and come from these haplogroups, especially K. K's branch is bigger than the entire rest of the phylogenetic tree put together. It's so huge. And I think that goes to the name that the creator gave Japheth. And Yapatha, because y'all truly enlarged Japheth. Japheth's DNA we gonna find is pretty much everywhere you can think to look. All right, and then you're these right here branch from it later, like I, J, R, N, and really wanted to point out that J there because people swear that J gotta be, Shemitic, but it seems to fall right in line with all these DNA groups we find in Europe. In Southeast Asia, Oceania, the Pacific, and it's that kind of caught me off guard because I wasn't one to so much, especially in the beginning, to advocate for the Pacific Islanders being the sons of Japheth, like a lot of One West groups was advocating for. But the more I studied, the more I found that there's actually credence to that. A lot of those are from ancient Europeans, before a lot of conquest and different things like that took place. Northern Eurasia with the N and Q and so on and so forth. And this is again from the genetic history of Ice Age Europe. Right here, we got my man Cheddar Man. And this right here gives you an illustration of what they look like. So, when people try to tell you Japheth was a white man, you have to kind of take a step back and say, hold up, we got Cheddar Man right here.
Cheddar Man.
Yeah, that's a dark skinned man. We got some wavy hair and blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? And Cheddar Man was found in the British Isles. And right here it says the genetic markers suggest that he probably had green or blue eyes, lactose intolerance, dark, curly or wavy hair, and dark to black skin. Cheddar Man's Y DNA belonged to a sister branch of I2A2, which is a sister of J. And this is from population replacement in early Neolithic Britain, published in Nature, Ecology, and Evolution. And it says population replacement. I might do a follow-up one on this, which talks about, the migration patterns and stuff that took place in Europe. But right now, this one right here is mainly focusing on getting those Y haplogroups and seeing if there was a common ancestor between the many Y haplogroups we're going to find throughout looking at the most ancient bodies we can find throughout Europe. This one right here is the Serbia cave in Georgia, former Soviet Russia. And it says the ancient individual from Serbia was male with black hair and brown eyes. However, the individual was one of the earliest found to carry the derived HER2 allele for blue eyes. The Serbia individual also likely had light skin, as he was found to carry the derived SLC24A5 allele for light skin. The Satsburia individual was also lactose intolerant, something we find in common amongst the sons of Japheth, or the people that's in those regions, or the sons of Japheth, and carried the haplogroup J2. And he was found about 11,000 years ago. That's about 9,300 BCE. Up to 3% of the Satsbury's individual's DNA was of Neanderthal origin. And this is from the Satsburia, New Insights of Human Response and Survival Across the Last Glacial Maximum in the Southern Caucasus by Pitz-Hassi. The Uts Ishma man of Serbia. This fossil was named after Uts Ishma district of Serbia, where it had been discovered. Belonged to Y-DNA haplogroup K2A. Now, it's a lot of older haplogroups in relation to K that's found up in that region, and I guess it's probably because if you buried them up in Serbia, it was very well preserved because it's probably tundra most of the time. Belongs to Y-DNA haplogroup Ka, and that asterisk is for a basal group. It means it's a basal lineage of it, and more closer related to East Asian and Oceanians than modern people living in Western Eurasian populations. So it's pretty much saying that people who live in the region live in now ain't related to them, while people who live in Oceania and Eastern Asia are more closely related to it. And this is from the oldest human genome reveals when our ancestors had sex with Neanderthals, published in Science American Associates for the Advancement of Science. And this is, as it says, the oldest human specimen we found of today's modern human. All right, ancient North Siberian, where if you look at the map here, you can see what the Ushima was at. Malta is right here down here, but right here we're going to be talking about Yana. Yana RHS in Serbia about 31,000 years ago. Two unrelated males from Yana RHS belong to haplogroup P1. Now, P1 is actually a haplo subclade of K, but they call it P1. It also has a K name as well. I forgot to put it there, but P1 is ancestral to Y haplogroups Q and R. And I mentioned Q and R is because Q actually is the Y haplogroup for the first Native Americans that crossed over into North America, and while R is especially R1b is the haplogroup of a lot of Europeans today. So a lot of Europeans today, even, like say the white man there, actually do descend from Japheth if they're R1b. The population history of northeastern Siberia since the Pleistocene, published in Nature Volume 570 in 2019. All right, here we go. Mount Alta Boy, or MA1, in Siberia 24,000 years ago. MA1 Y chromosome data was then included, and Mega Phylogenetic Software 3 was used to construct a neighboring joining NJ tree with default parameters. Oh, you can see I actually had that on here, but I took it out of the presentation. I actually had to figure it out, but I took it out at the last minute to focus in on this one thing. But MA1 was placed as a basal lineage to all the R's, so pretty much is a basal R lineage. And this is from the supplemental information from the Upper Paleolithic Siberian genome reveals dual ancestry of Native Americans. And I want to say something about supplemental information. See, a lot of people don't read a lot of these articles. It's probably just as much clearly defined information in the supplemental information as it is in the article itself. And it's probably not about stuff in the article itself, just stuff that connects to it. So a lot of times you want to go there, look at some of them charts, because the charts are very clearly defined. and get a lot of good information from them. But again, this is the R lineage. All right. East hunter-gatherers as a distinct genetic cluster in samples of 2 males of East hunter-gatherers, male buried in Kerala, was found to be carrying R1A1. Both date to about 6 to 5,000 BCE. And this was found in the major Y chromosome haplogroup R1b Holocene era founder effect in Central and Western Europe, published in 2011. All right, so we got R, we had Q, bagging it up a little bit. We had P1, which is a sub of K, and we had K. So we coming towards the part where we're gonna really key in on this and really get a full picture of what's going on here. The Eastern hunter-gatherers was buried in Samara around 5600 BCE, carried R1b1. So we got both clades of R1. Eastern hunter-gatherers are attested to about 75% ancient North Eurasian DNA descendant, and to contribute significantly to the ancestry of Western hunter-gatherers, which we're going to talk about some of those in a minute. During the Neolithic EGH, Eastern hunter-gatherers on the Pontic Caspian steppe created the Yamnaya culture, which was a culture that came a little bit later that brought some of the early farming culture to that region. This is from the phylogenetic and geographic structure of Y chromosome haplogroup R1A. All right, right here, this is the Funtagora 2, also in Serbia. Like I said, a lot of stuff is going on up there in Serbia and that Russia area. The individual showed close genetic affinities to Malta 1 or Malta boy. AG2 belongs to a now rare Y DNA haplogroup Q1A1, also known as QF746 and QNWT01. Pretty much is a Native American haplogroup. The genetic history of the Ice Age Europe. I pretty much now we want to take a look at all these different haplogroups that we have, because really, matter of fact, let me go to it right now. See, I got a chart, not this one, right here, where it got it say 51 ancient modern humans analyzed. This is from all over Europe. You see right here in the Y chromosome, you got K, F, C1b, C1a. Out of all of these here, 29 of them are male. And out of those 29, because a lot of these ones right here that say CT were found to just be basal Cs, 28 of them all connect to one common ancestor. And the phylogenetic tree is going to make that real clear. But I just want to show you can see the I right there, F, I, J, K, R right there, H, I, J, K, which I mentioned right there. That was found over in Belgium. I being found in Germany. I showed you one found in the British Isles. So let's get back to the presentation real quick. I just wanted to show that real quick. All right, right here, this is just a basic phylogenetic tree so everybody can see. All right, you got AB over here, which I'll give it away now. I believe that's dealing with Ham. You have DE, which, as you can see right here, they have it also with the out of Africa branch, because they were having difficulties trying to figure out where did DE arise at. But when I do the presentation on the House of Shem, which deals with the area in which DE arose in, is going to expound on that a whole lot. And then over here, you see we have, which DE is here, we have CF right here, with the C branch and the F branch, which we had a haplogroup. We went back to C. We have one that go back to F. So we can see a CF clearly, but I want to show the whole tree so you can get a real good concept. See, look how big Japheth lineage is. It goes from here all the way over here to the end. So Yah really did enlarge Japheth. But as you can see right here, this is the P1 with the R and the Q down here. And we can move up and we can get up to the K, IJK, H, IJK, so on and so forth. And we get back to CF. So I think that the evidence, because I didn't really want this presentation to be long because I wanted it to the point. I think that the evidence all clearly points to CF being Japheth's Y chromosome. And so I think that anybody who wants to continue arguing, and I think this makes this clear, that J marker is a Shemitic marker, they need a reality check, all right? They need to really do their research and come up with some good cohesive models to show and prove what they saying.
Right.
Because the model I'm laying out right here, right now, based on my approach to it, it's foolproof, bro. All those bodies or male bodies that we find that we can get DNA from show and prove that the first people to settle in that region, which would be the sons of Japheth, all descend from haplogroup CF, which includes, again, the J marker. So don't be trying to tell me Aaron is a son of Japheth, because I ain't buying it. All right?
Right.
And I'm just gonna end the presentation right here. And then I'm gonna save the rest of it for part 2, because I didn't even finish it out, because I was like, man, this probably gonna be 40 slides all by itself, just part 2 if I get to finishing it out, man, because there's so much information. But I just wanted to get this basic level understanding out to the people so it could be clear who the sons of Japheth are. And that ain't all Europeans, bro. That's only 1/3 of the people up in Europe actually descending from Japheth. So we got to get some understanding on who them other people are. And we're going to see about that in some of the later presentations I do when I do them on DE and AB.
Hold up. I'm not dead. Double-edged sword. 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 Double-edged sword.
Start swarming like locusts, guaranteed that I'm focused. Yeah, the enemy won't be dead, but I'm leaving them hopeless. More fear than a nightstick, switch the pitch like a light switch. Send him home with his face slit, handcuffed like a bracelet. His future enslavement, we pillage and take shit. Leave him trapped in the basement, saying I need him a facelift. We can purchase a glass whip, something able to slash quick while he getting his ass kicked for the things of the past tense. Leave mortified, these are things that I quantify, cause I'm qualified. Never gets in a minute when I come to get him, cause I'm bonafide. Destroy your teeth like I'm fluoride, then I hear to help this in side. I hustle hard like a bean pie in the streets on the east side. Making a spectacle out of my death? Yes.
Don't act like you don't remember wrong. Then we get together, sing a lullaby, singing the death of a pig song. You think you gon' call on my God after you rape and you rob, you're dead
not
wrong.
Dead.
Double-edged sword. 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 Double-edged sword.
All I know.
Hold up, is I'm not dead. Double-edged sword. Double-edged sword. Double-edged sword. Double-edged sword.
Build a team they can't cope with. Our faith is the most sick. Yeah, we gonna rule the world and they think that we're joking. Headed home like a home run after hit with a big stick. Yeah, you're gonna be a slave, so gonna just face it. Call me a damn crook, but I didn't write this book. You think that it's all lies, then go take a good look. Of course we make the mistakes, but your faith is a day late. No plans to pay back, you mad cause Christ black. Solidified, yeah, the max we multiply. Our time to rule, no compromise. They see the truth but don't realize, so bring the change, let it feel the flame. Why manifest, no time for games. Bring the venom like we're governmental, and we chopping heads, not accidental. It's incidental and fundamental, we fighting back cause we know the riddle. Yeah, we know the riddle, not second fiddle, no longer last, nor in the middle. We don't give a damn if you judgmental, just understand when we reassemble. We the kings of this presidential, it's coming out, no longer confidential.
I'm not dead. Double-edged sword. 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 All I know, hold up, is I'm not dead. Double-edged sword. Double-edged sword. Double-edged sword. Double-edged sword.